She literally blatantly lied about how many crew members she had on her Netflix series. Very simplistic concept and setup is not going to entail 80 crew members on set.
Let's be honest, this was never about bath salts, essential oils, or how many crew members were on set. This was about you, a mediocre woman with a microphone, watching Meghan create something beautiful, and realizing you couldn't. You weren't investigating, you were unraveling, loudly, publicly, desperately. You're not mad that Meghan said there were 80 people on set. You're mad that she had 80 people working for her. While you're still DIYing your content, hoping someone in your comments calls you underrated. She had a professional team, a global platform, and the kind of aesthetic precision that requires real resources. Not Pinterest boards and product hauls. But because you couldn't access it, you tried to discredit it. Because you couldn't replicate it, you tried to reduce it. Let's pull up receipts. Marie Kondo's Tidying Up. A quiet little show about folding shirts. Crew size? 80 to 100. Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop Labs. All candles and crystals. Still had 80 plus behind the scenes. Chef's Table. Minimal dialogue. Maximum cinematic flair. 70 to 100 people. Salt, fat, acid, heat. A calm cooking series. Over 85 crew members. Especially for international shoots. Lighting, grip, sound. Set decorators. Coordinators. COVID compliance. Catering. Glam, wardrobe, production design, legal, insurance, field producers. Ever heard of them? Apparently not. You thought Meghan was filming a Pinterest tutorial in her bathroom? No. This was a unionized Netflix production. That's a machine, not a vlog. Now, onto your next meltdown. Bath salts and essential oils. You really dug into the bottom of your recycled Whole Foods tote for that one. The faux concern over Meghan's bath salts being dangerous is giving Facebook mom group fear-mongering, not facts. Yes, some essential oils can be irritating in high concentrations, which is why the wellness industry uses dilution guidelines. It's basic chemistry. It's also why Meghan's team used professionally sourced ingredients, not homemade guesses. Do you honestly think Netflix, Archwell, or any production company would launch a global product without regulatory clearance? Be for fucking real. This isn't Etsy in 2011. Also, if edible flowers and bath salts is enough to send you into a spiral, I'd hate to see how you'd react to actual global issues. The truth is, you see her poise, her restraint, her ability to create at a scale you'll never reach, and you can't take it. You call it commentary, but it's envy. Every clipped sentence, every performative sigh, every eye roll you film in your front camera is just a low-budget expression of something deeper. You want what she has. You just can't become who she is. So you nitpick, you speculate, you accuse, you attack her bath salts because you can't touch her influence. You question her crew because you'll never command one. You mock her style because you have none of your own. And after all your effort, all your stitched rants, all your dramatic tone shifts, you're no closer to her than when you started. She's unbothered, unreachable, unaware. Because while you're refreshing your notifications, hoping your bitterness goes viral, Meghan is building, expanding, creating, living. She'll be remembered. You'll be recycled. This wasn't a critique. It was a confession of jealousy, of limitation, of smallness. And no matter how loud you get, you'll never matter more than the woman you can't stop talking about.
You know, Prince Harry, the math ain't mathin'. You told the whole world that your family's a bunch of horrible racist people who mistreated your wife.
Oh, Melly Mel. Auntie energy with zero insight. You got on TikTok, wrapped up in your robe of recycled talking points, and declared Meghan a discard queen and Harry a lost puppy. But the only thing being discarded here is your logic. Let's start with your opening math ain't mathing moment. You think calling out racism and wanting reconciliation are mutually exclusive? That's not confusion. That's emotional immaturity. Grown people confront harm, set boundaries, and allow for healing. That's what evolved adults do. But I don't expect you to understand that when you're still clinging on to TikTok beef with a woman who's never spoken your name. You claim Harry should have thought about his father's mortality 5 years ago, as if being abused by your family comes with a grace period. You don't get to weaponize guilt over illness to rewrite history. That's manipulative. That's abusive. And it's giving Fox News meets Facebook aunt. Then you tried to psychoanalyze Meghan by comparing her to your ex-friends, your ex-man, your ex-everybody. That's your trauma, not Meghan's resume. Projection isn't personality. And let's be honest, you sound a lot like that Meghan-type friend you described. Bitterness, victimhood, and the need to make every wound about you. You didn't lose a friend like Meghan. You were the friend someone finally cut off. You brought up the dog. The dog. Let me guess. You read that on a Reddit thread between baking cookies and Googling reasons to hate Meghan Markle. The rescue organization itself said the dog wasn't healthy enough to travel. But sure, drag her for responsible pet ownership while still believing the royal family isn't capable of racism. You say Diana was real and Meghan's fake, but here's the irony. Meghan's crime was marrying a prince and expecting to be treated like a human being. Diana dared to speak out, and they smeared her. Meghan dared to speak out, and you call her manufactured? Do you hear yourself? You accuse her of being a social climber, when the truth is, you are trying to build clout on her name. TikTok infamy by way of hate speech. You're not speaking truth to power. You're cosplaying accountability while peddling bitterness for engagement. You say the squatties are coming for you? Let's be clear. They're not. You're not a threat. You're not a challenge. You're not even interesting enough to rally around. The squad didn't organize a takedown or pause their day for a little stunt. They sent me. And let's be honest, this is the only video you've posted that anyone has even noticed. The rest of your content is sitting there untouched, like potato salad at a racist cookout. So of course you came for Meghan, because hating her is the cheapest way to get a few views and some sad, dusty validation. You're giving pick-me energy in bulk, loud, performative, and desperate to be noticed by people who wouldn't claim you in private. You didn't go viral because you made a point. You went viral because you embarrassed yourself on cue. You don't hate Meghan because she's fake. You hate her because she walked away. She had the audacity to say no thank you, to abuse, to leave the table where crumbs were tossed like favors, and build her own. And you, a black woman, are out here dancing for the monarchists' approval. Like there's a seat still waiting for you if you just drag her hard enough. That's what's really sad. Not your video, not your views, but the fact that you still think their acceptance is still something to earn. And while we're here, let's not pretend this is just about family drama. This is about the British monarchy. The institution that colonized continents, stole wealth, erased cultures, and built empires on the backs of black and brown people. Their legacy is G-side, not grace. And you have the nerve to defend them while tearing down a woman they couldn't control? A woman who champions women, who builds platforms, funds causes, and uses her spotlight to uplift women who've been overlooked, silenced, or dismissed. Women like you. You might not see it, but Meghan fights for women who get shut out of rooms because of how they look, how they speak, or where they're from. She amplifies voices that sound a lot more like yours than hers. And still, you spit in her direction. You mock the very kind of woman she's trying to empower, all because you want views. Disappointing, desperate, and deeply disturbing. It's not that you don't recognize her power. It's that deep down, you know you've never stood in your own. You're not protecting the crown. You're polishing chains.
An expert has analysed Meghan Markle's words and behaviours, and guess what? They agree with us. They also claim she is highly narcissistic. But I stumbled upon an interview with Richard Granon, a psychologist and expert on narcissism.
Lindsay, you intellectually bankrupt, bargain basement Bethany Frankel wannabe, emotional scavenger. You clout-thirsty trauma cosplayer with a podcast no one listens to, and a face that screams influencer clearance rack. You got on camera, in what looks like a glorified storage closet or trailer, clutching a pillow like it was your last ounce of dignity, tried psychoanalyzing Meghan, using quotes from a narcissistic YouTube bro who reads DSM criteria like it's tarot. You're the last person on earth qualified to analyze anyone's mental health. You think narcissist is a buzzword you can just throw around when a woman doesn't bow her head and beg for approval. Meghan says her family loves her, and you twist it into a clinical disorder because the idea of a woman being loved, admired, and adored burns you from inside out. You don't sound like an expert. You sound like someone who's been left unread by every therapist you've ever emailed. Let's not pretend this is about Meghan. This is about you and your festering, unrelenting obsession with tearing down a woman who embodies everything you'll never be. Meghan is beautiful, accomplished, adored, and transcendent. You post low-resolution gossip videos in a makeshift RV studio because the algorithm doesn't reward your mediocrity unless you put Meghan's name in your mouth like a lifeline. You called her highly narcissistic because she doesn't grovel for approval from people like you. Meanwhile, you're sitting in a mobile home goods catalog, screaming into a lens like your opinions are gospel, when they're just recycled Twitter takes, filtered through jealousy and a basic Canva template. You talk about contradictions. You can't even keep your story straight. One day you're just analyzing. The next, you're dragging a woman you'll never meet like she stole your spot on a reality show 10 years ago. She's living in a Montecito estate. You're talking shit from a futon under flickering LED lights. Let's not forget your expert Richard Granon, an unlicensed, self-aggrandizing trauma grifter who's as credible as a Reddit moderator with daddy issues. You cited him like he's a Harvard researcher, when he's basically Andrew Tate for people who listen to true crime on double speed. A man with the psychological credibility of a TikTok tarot reader. As your expert witness, you might as well have quoted a barista or a spirit board. Granon is the same man who's admitted to having narcissistic traits himself, and who's been rightfully dragged by survivors for being manipulative, volatile, and ironically, narcissistic himself across multiple trauma recovery forums for turning his coaching into a conspiracy-tinged performance. He rants about energy vampires and plays therapist with all the sensitivity of a sledgehammer. And you're treating him like gospel? And you, the woman with less formal training than a licensed esthetician, decided this was your moment to drag a duchess through the mud. You don't have the range. You don't have the credentials. You barely have a working light. Here's your diagnosis, Lindsay. Terminal jealousy, chronic projection, and a rage addiction to Meghan's name. And the prognosis? Incurable. Because no matter how many episodes you post, no matter how many times you say highly narcissistic, in that over-rehearsed podcast cadence, Meghan will still be thriving. And you'll still be seething, bitter, and irrelevant. You're not the hero of this takedown. You're the case study.
Don't ever say we have no culture when all we see are circling vultures. Oxtails been soul food from the start. The prices spiked, they done picked it apart. Essence Fest flop, seen as a bust. What once felt like home, lost our trust. Creole Cajun, love how New Orleans talk. New Yorkers and Timbs, that bop, that walk. South Florida girls, guaranteed to make you gawk. Dominant in sports, naturally athletic. Just pure black strength. African genetics. Little Richard, Chuck Berry, rock and roll's core. Run DMC ushered, rap through mainstream doors. Isaac Hayes, Barry White, those genius scores. They mimic our style on foreign shores. Don't tell us why your homeland's so great. Point fingers at us and our United States. Been free 60 years since we gained control. Now you ride our wave, forgetting your role. You're either a fraud or just being a troll. Maybe it's time we gatekeep and charge a toll. Amen.
Hello, my people. Lady Rosie here. How y'all doing? All my new subscribers, you're welcome. And my returning subscribers, you all know I love you. So, guys, this news, I got it on replay on my wonderful brother Baron's channel, The Royal Success. Apparently, the Kensington Palace, no, it's a Buckingham Palace. People met with the Montecito Palace lady. Yes. So, the Montecito Palace lady went to England to meet with the Buckingham Palace people to extend the olive branch. So, I am guessing right now here, we are gonna see the reconciliation. Allegedly, I am not sure if I really believe everything that comes out of Daily Mail, but that's just me. Yes, so we're just gonna just sit down here and try to look around, look at the news from Montecito and see what's gonna come out. But you know, one thing, who am I to tell somebody who's a father is probably not going to be here for the next few years not to see them fathers? You know, I do not have a real father and mother. They left me when I was a little kid, and it's not easy. You know, when you still have those people around you, you need to cherish them, you know. It's really not easy on me, but I do have wonderful mothers and fathers who raised me. They did a wonderful job. And I do appreciate all of the my queens and my kings, my uncles. God bless you all, guys. And I have no regret, but I have to tell the world the truth. You know, it's really painful. You know, you will have all those other fathers. They love you to death like mine. I have my fathers, they adore me. My aunties, they adore me, but still, Jacqueline is not there. It just doesn't feel like I'm a whole. You know, Thomas is not there. It does not feel like I'm a whole person out here, you know. So when this guy's father is calling him, because you know that guy's reputation is really terrible. His legacy is terrible. He's a cheater. He's a cheating husband. He did whatever happened there that unalived his ex. His ex got exed by him, and maybe allegedly, because everything be coming from people's mouths. You know, that guy who used to be the butler from that home says if Charlie Boy was good to the queen of people's hearts, she would have been alive today, because he was not nice to her. That's why she is no longer here with us. You know, that's kind of concerning. That kid, that guy there with Big Bite Belly, that dude, what's you call his name, Paul, I just don't even like him. You know, that guy be doing, they doodling with his ass. That, I have no respect for him, because he came one time, he came and said all the bad stuff about the Duchess, her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, like he had power to say anything, to even compare her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex to something like Mumbles. How do you compare a talented woman, smart, very well articulated, educated, raised by good mother? You gonna compare that one to somebody raised by Carol Middleton? You should be ashamed of your damn selves, Tom, Paul, Barrow, whatever your damn name is. I don't like you. I don't like most of y'all guys, and some of y'all guys' faces be looking like a toilet. Not you know, some faces be looking like toilet. You know, I was trying not to say that, okay? I was not trying to say lots of stuff, but you know, sometimes my mouth be slipping on me, and you know, all this is Reba Anderson's fault, because you know Reba and you and cooking the screen, you cookies and cream. Y'all guys be telling me lots of stuff and then make my mouth slip, and then after that the YouTube comes blames me. And Connie Bama, you one of them too. All of y'all guys here, my queen, Joyce Anderson, y'all be telling me stuff. You know, sometimes when you tell me stuff, it kind of twists my brain. And that's when I start saying all them crazy stuff, which I did not really want to say. You know, I'm trying to behave myself. Lakiva, you know, y'all guys. Nah, can you believe somebody saying all the awful stuff and then blaming it on everybody else by themselves? Oh, that's so cute. I just love myself, I tell you. Now these people be getting to my nerves. How do you compare some filth, a social climber raised by Carol Middlebaum, to somebody raised by a social worker, a beautiful black queen, strong one, Miss Dora Regland? You should be ashamed of your damn selves out there. And that poor guy, do not come out here compare our future queen of England, her Royal Highness Duchess Sussex, to that filth. Okay? Because otherwise I'm going to come for you, and I'm going to take your videos and send them to the notorious JTB over on TikTok. You ain't going to be alive after that, because we know you ass stupid. So guys, so if Prince Harry, but you know one thing, Prince Harry, listen to me. You my brother-in-law, right? So this is we talking the family. You need to call that daddy of yours and tell your daddy to send those security to Montecito and start paying for those security right now. Don't just make up with him like that with everything that he did to you. I understand that you want to make up with him, but he need to bring all those security, bring those security in the UK. He bring those security everywhere you gonna go and pay for those security. He want to look good, because guess what? You ain't got nothing to lose. That guy has a whole reputation and a whole legacy to lose, okay? You need to open your mouth and tell him, Daddy, I need my security, and I need those security to come watch my house in Montecito. All of those combined. And y'all know Prince Harry really wanted to take his babies to show them where he grew up and tell them the history about all those people, his forefathers, all those terrible people, the people who unalived us, the ones who sold us, all those terrible kings all over there. Well, it's a history, so it's good to teach your kids those history, and so that they know where they're coming, they came from. And because you know, they tell you the people who do not know where they came from, they don't know where they're going. So that's only why I'm going to support this one here. So God bless y'all guys' family. I'm going to talk to y'all guys, and all of y'all guys, Success Squad with YouTube TV here. Y'all need to make a video about this one here, so we could take those messages straight to the Duke of Sussex. He's the Royal Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry Windsor. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Bye for now.